Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Trek Canon Bootleg Edition, where today we're going to be doing a review of Season 3, Episode 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, entitled Shuttle to Kenfori. So if you haven't seen that episode, go stop this video, go check that out and come back, because this video is going to be filled with spoilers, but y'all know how I roll. So let's get right into it. For this is off the bat, man, I love this episode. I absolutely found this episode entertaining. Look, whenever you decide to mix Star Trek with zombies. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, So what's going on is this, man. Of course, you got the whole little situation with Captain Batel, man, getting part of Una's blood, which kind of they thought was going to be the antidote or some kind of cure-all for Captain Batel's blood, because remember, she's infected with the Gorn's babies, right? So they trying to basically take over her DNA, eat her alive, and all that kind of stuff, and it's very painful. Anyway, they had this once. Anyway. So come find out, man, they got this one little hypothetical, man, Hail Mary, probably cured, man, things that's like chimera plant that's on this planet. But the whole thing is, man, is this planet is in restricted territory, because it's basically restricted due to the fact that they had a war. When I say they, Starfleet had a war with the Klingons, and it's pretty cool that they keep mentioning the Klingon Federation war. Anyway, so it's restricted. But anyway, they had this whole little scientific experimentation thing going on at that planet, and the whole planet basically is uninhabited. But they got this one particular flower, like I said, called this chimera flower, that they figured that they can use to kind of cure Captain Batel. Anyway, so they need to restrict it. It's off the low-key books, man. They got to go save Captain Batel's life, man. So of course Captain Archer decides to go with Dr. Mbenga. So whenever you get an episode with Dr. Mbenga, I enjoy myself, because Dr. Mbenga, he's just a G to me. Look, so anyway, what's going on the ship is now that also, you got what was it, Lieutenant Ortega. Remember, she had that whole little situation with almost getting killed by a Gorn too, and now she's having flashbacks, man, and she's living on the edge, being insubordinate, like she's having this thing going through, she's having this thing. But she got cleared back for work, so she's back at the helm. Anyway, Una starts to notice, and Uhura starts to notice that, hey, Ortega, man, you starting to be a little insubordinate, man, starting to question, command Spock, all that kind of stuff. What's the deal? But of course, Ortega's like, yo, I'm fine, everything like that. I'm just, I just think my plan. Okay, so anyway, they decide to go into restricted territory, man, so that they can fly into this. Okay, first of all, again, the cinematography, the special effects, the CGI of how they do the space, all of that, the space anomalies, planets, this particular dust cloud that they was flying through. And yes, if anybody has watched Neil deGrasse Tyson, he has explained that there is all kind of space between, dust and rocks and all that kind of stuff in it, but it looks so much cooler that way. Anyway, so Ortega is trying to fly through this, man, the minimum velocity, man, so that they don't get detected and all this kind of stuff, and they gonna scare them outside of this dust cloud, man, so that Captain Pike and Mbenga can get in this shuttle, man, go down to this planet and get this flower. Anyway, so that ends up working, man. They get to the planet, man. They, it starts walking towards this whole facility looking for the planet, because the planet is supposed to be there. Anyway, Dr. Mbenga notices, hey, there is no life on this planet. And he's like, oh, yeah, no humanoid life. He's like, no, man, no life, no fungus, none of that. No life, insects, animals, none of that is fauna. And when I was thinking about fauna, right, for a minute, I ain't gonna lie, I was thinking to myself, y'all surrounded by vegetation, how's there's no fauna? Anyway, I had a moment. So they end up, man, going into this research facility, man. It's all, all messed up, deserted, all that kind of stuff, man. They come across this. And what was really cool is that normally in Star Trek, when they being down to an M-class planet, they just start touching stuff. And Bingo was like, yo, man, put on some gloves, man, cover your face, pollen, all this. You touching it. We use this for medicine, man. We don't know what kind of dosages mess with people. Yeah, right, okay. So I was like, I like that they put that in there. Anyway, they kind of find out some Klingons that came around. They came out with a battle cruiser. They didn't enter the whole system, everything like that. There's no communications, but a Klingon shuttle goes down to the planet. So I'm like, oh, snap. We got the Klingons in it. So check this out. Now we got a situation where the Enterprise is hiding from the Klingons in space, and we got a situation where the Klingons is coming down there to figure out what's going on this planet. So now look. I love, again, whenever you got the Klingons in it. The Klingons come in, man, start being like, yo, we finna kill y'all, because Mbenga was like, they shoot on sight, right? So they get into a firefight and all this kind of stuff, man. Everything, they get taken prisoner. You got this female Klingon, man. She got these two Klingon dudes with her. And what happens? Zombies come out. And I'm talking about those, like, what was it? what was that? What was that series called? The Last of Us, yeah. The Last of Us type zombies with the fungus, man. They infected with the chimera plant or whatever, some kind of experiment they was doing with the chimera plant and infected everybody with this fungus type of thing, man. Everybody trying to go around biting and eating people, man. Cleon start shooting people with disruptors, man. People blowing up. Oh, man, or getting disrupted. I was like, oh, snap. Anyway, Captain Pike and Bigger ends up getting caught again, man. They trying to fight, get out of this, man. So, okay. So they come up with this plan. When I say they, the people aboard the ship, Una and Spock and all them come up with the plan because, of course, you got to sit around the table when there's situations going on. You got to figure out, hey, you know, what's going to be our plan of approach? You know, okay. So, Ortega, she's basically like, yo, let's warp jump into the atmosphere to planet. Everybody, hold up. You don't go warp jumping into no atmosphere. Okay. So let me tell you something. I'm going to include in this video 2 inconsistent treks. Okay. And this is going to be the first one. So you telling me that there's going to be an issue jumping in and out of warp in the atmosphere when I know I've seen the, the Voyage Home. I know I've seen the Voyage Home when they put those whales on board the bird of prey and the bird of prey in a warp in the atmosphere of Earth. I know I remember this, and it don't even get me started. So look, that's my inconsistent track on that one. So let's continue on, right? So, but Spike, like, look. We could just drift, right? Altering our course a little bit. It take us about 4 hours to get there and everything, and we won't be detected by nobody. Can stay invisible. We won't violate no treaties. None of that. We don't have to engage no Klingons. And look, or take it like, yo, man, the Klingons is on the planet. Yeah, right, okay. So of course, Una like, listen, man, we gonna go with the whole little. We ain't gonna violate the treaty and possibly start a war with the Klingon route, right? Because we're not even supposed to be here in the first place. Ortega. So anyway, they start off with that mission. Now, here's the thing. The Lady Klingon got this problem with Mbenga because you remember that Klingon ambassador that Mbenga had self-defense back in the day, back in like season 2 or something like that. Yeah. That's her father. Come find out, since her father was working with the Federation and all this kind of stuff, he was discommendated. Her family line was discommendated, of course. They've been disgraced, and the only way she could get her honor back is basically to kill her father. But no, Mbenga went and did that. So now the only way she could get her honor back is by killing Mbenga. So that's why she is there. So she's like, listen, Mbenga, we finna, okay, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the zombies start overwhelming everybody. The two Klingon dudes get, of course, zombie and everything like that. And it was cool, man, because as soon as the zombie bit that Klingon dude, the Klingon lady, 28 days, that Klingon dude instantly, it wasn't none of those questions like, oh, let's try to save it. Nah, blast, instant. Anyway, so they end up making it outside, of course, trying to get away from the zombies and everything like that. They put up this force field, and now they behind it. It's the stationary force field that the female Klingon is behind, Captain Archer and Dr. Mbenga. And she goes to explain to them this, and oh yeah, all the zombies is, surrounding this place like it's some kind of Resident Evil movie. Anyway, she goes to explain to Mbenga, yo man, you took my honor, I'm discommendated, la 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 la. And Mbenga was like, listen, lady, you trying to kill me for some honor, man? So she stabs Pike because look, Pike ain't finna get inside this whole little fight thing, dude, that we finna have. And I'm finna coerce you to fight me, even though you sitting up there trying to tell me I don't want to release my dark side, because of course y'all know Mbenga is a G, so he don't want to release his dark side. But she like, listen, dude, I want your dark side. 1, because I'm a Klingon, I love fighting dark sides. And 2, hold up. Okay, I have to change the venue because somebody started doing lawn care and everything. First of all, how you gonna do lawn care and it's 100 degrees outside? We having a heat wave in Chicago. How you doing lawn care? Anyway, so the lady Klingon, man, she was like, listen, Mbenga, I'm tired of all this. You trying to be, a monk and all this kind of stuff, and pacifist and doctor and all this kind of stuff when I know you not, right? So she picks up Pike, like I said, who got stabbed in his leg, and she holds the whole Klingon blade to his neck and was like, listen, tell me the truth, tell me what happened, and all this kind of stuff. And Mbenga basically admits, like, listen, man, I didn't self-defense your whole little father and everything like that. I killed him because he was just an evil man, a mass murderer, man, a genocidal, just lunatic. That's why I did it, and he deserved it, and now I'll do it again. Well, he didn't get all that excited. But anyway, that's basically what he said. So Cleon later like, listen, I'm finna get my honor back. So they proceed to fighting. And Benga's doing this thing, man. They fighting, they doing a nice little hand-to-hand fighting thing. Then they tied the little rope to, from her little, this is the cloth of my family and everything, my father, something like this. Let it be soaked by one of our bloods. Cleon's always got this really cool ritual thing to say whenever they about to do some whole little party. Well, Cleon's call it partying. Now, here's where we get to the next inconsistent track, and there's two of them in this episode. And even though we got these inconsistent tracks in this episode, again, I thought this episode was awesome. Here we go. So you trying to tell me that you as a human are going to headbutt a Cleon, not headbutt in the nose. I'm talking about headbutt, like head to head, a Cleon with the head ridges. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that a human is going to headbutt a Cleon, is going to be effective against the Cleon, and the human head is going to be all right and concussionless. Get out of here with that. So I had to come back to my original venue because apparently once you're done in the back of your place doing your lawn gardening, you got to go to the front. I feel like I'm getting chased if I was paranoid. So, of course, Mbenga ends up winning, but he spares her again, which I don't know if Mbenga did this because he was trying to be nice or a doctor or because he knew for a fact, because he didn't fought a lot of Cleons, right? He know Cleon culture very well. He knew for a fact that would have just dishonored this lady even more, right? So she's like, dude, look, check this out. I'm going to get my honor the only other way I know how, right? By self-sacrifice. So she's like, listen, this whole barrier breaking down, you guys, I'm gonna attract all the attention from everybody, all these zombies, right? And when they come in, y'all go ahead and get the shuttle. I'm gonna deal with these zombies and get my honor back. And she did, man. She had got this like super whip, Cleon whip thingy, right? And she had a disruptor in the other hand, man. And she just went at it. But of course, she got overwhelmed. Now at the last minute, Benga and Archer gets beamed back to the Enterprise. Why? Because I went out, okay, right, what was going on in space? So check this out, right? So, of course, it's going to take, something happens where it's going to take a little longer. And when I say a little longer, instead of 4 hours, 6 hours for the Enterprise to drift close enough to beam up Captain Kirk, Captain Kirk, look at me, for them to beam up Archer and Mbenga, right? And Scotty's down there trying to figure out how to do all of this because, of course, they incorporating Scotty into this whole situation, which is weird because Scotty wasn't in the first season. He wasn't in the first few episodes of Star Trek, right? So that's interesting to me. But anyway, besides the point. So, what happens? All right. So they go with Ortega's plan because they get detected while they drifting. We get to that later by the Cleons. Cleon battlecruiser, man, is like, yo, man, there's something over there, man. Let me go and see what's going on. All right. So now they got to warp into the atmosphere. They warp, okay, which so they do, okay, and there's all this stuff. Now this was beautiful. I couldn't even talk about how against a lot of canon that this went because it was just so beautifully done, man. The way they had the Enterprise coming through the atmosphere of this planet, man, with the shields and friction from the atmosphere, catching, man, like like that friction heat. It was beautiful. Like it was. I as a Trekkie, I had to get a little happy, joy. So anyway, right. So of course they get it and they warp out of it. Right. Okay. They on their way. Now we got to talk to. Oh yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the thing that Archer didn't know was that this particular Chimera plant. It wasn't a cure. Well, it was kind of a cure, but it was a double-edged sword cure. The double-edged sword side of it was, instead of it curing and ridding her of the Gorn DNA, it was going to mend her human DNA with the Gorn DNA, in essence, making her a hybrid. She knew about this, didn't want to tell Pike because she knew that he would basically be like, nah, man, I don't want my woman looking like a lizard. But, of course, he's never seen a Series V. Don't mind me. I told you I drift. So anyway, man, they got this whole back and forth between Archer and Patel, and I love the way they did it because, in the end, of course, he's going to support her. He tells her why he did it, and all that, why he felt the way that he did, why he would have went, and, the way that she explained herself. And, it was really cool how they did that dynamic. Now, there's one other thing, and it's going to be my third inconsistent track when it comes to this, is this right here. And yes, it was 3 inconsistent tracks. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember the episode Operation Annihilate, right, where Spock had got infected with his life form, right, that had bit him on the back, and it was taking over his nervous system, and it was causing him excruciating pain. And when I say excruciating pain, I'm talking about excruciating pain, right? And he was using everything in his power to like not have that happen. Okay, now I understand that this, that particular episode takes place a few years after, the whole situation of Operation what happened right here. But you trying to tell me you going to mind meld with Captain Battelle so that you can help her deal with the pain that she's going through with this whole little Gorn thing infestating her body, right? And you get so uncontrolled up and wrapped up inside her pain that you, a little po dude, and I keep trying to tell people not to upset a Vulcan. Don't upset a Vulcan. And rule number 2, don't be around upset Vulcans or Vulcans who not in control of their, faculties. Because he hit that nurse dude, right, that dude, right. I thought he was gone. I thought he was straight up gone. It was like nowhere in the world he survived that hit. Because he flew about 5 feet and slid about another 5 feet all the way over there to the door. And Spock, look. It seemed like they didn't pay no attention to that dude who just got, semi-trucked over there into the corner and everything. And then what was really gangster is that Spock walked past, just walked past him talking about some apologies. No, dog, you hit my whole solar plexus. My chest is wrapped around my spine right now, dude. So the inconsistent trick is, so how you going to sit up here, be able to withstand your whole nervous system being infected by these Operation Annihilate, jelly things on your back, right? And you can't help her, or at least try to mend the pain, which he kind of did, or she was just like freaked out because she didn't just seen him hit a dude across the room. So she was like, "Oh, Spock, I'm you know what? I'm fine. I don't even need you holding my head while you in pain at all." Anyway, man, of course, at the end, and I kind of feel two ways about how Mbenga and Archer's interaction at the end of this episode went, right? Because on one tip, Archer, once he found out that truth, man, he was supposed to basically report Mbenga, but we know how captains are with they doctor homies in Star Trek, man. They have been all kind of, look, just see the search for Spock. But I love the dynamic that they had and are forming over time with Archer and Mbenga as friends, and colleagues. Like, that's a really cool dynamic. But Ortega, let's get back to Ortega, because remember I said she was, not doing everything. Okay, so remember I had said that they got detected because they were supposed to say underneath a certain speed. Ortega, she won't do none of that. So of course, she had sped up to the speed right at which the battle cruiser was supposed to be able to pick them up, right? And that's what is, instigated this whole thing. Now, on one tip, if she hadn't did what she did and they waited those extra 2 hours, Pike and Mbenga would definitely have been, they would have succumbed to the whole little Last of Us zombies on that planet. But she also disobeyed orders from the first officer, who was acting captain at the time. So, of course, Una bring in, man, discipline, they'll give it his talk. And I love the way Una is able to discipline and still maintain a mother figure, almost like a Janeway type of situation with her when it comes to how she interacts with the crew a lot of ways. But basically, she was like, yo, man, I'm taking you off duty for two weeks, man. You off duty. Because, you set all this up, and I told you not to, and you did it anyway. Basically, you ain't going for that. So that was a cool episode, man. I really love this episode. I got a kick out this episode. It was entertaining. Special effects were top notch. The only thing that I could say bad about this episode is how they doing my boy Pike. If you remember my boy Pike from the classic series, from the original series, the 3 episodes he was in, right? Pike seemed like a swashbuckler. He seemed like he'll go at it. Like, that was his thing. This Pike, man, he seemed like he kind of scared to actually engage the enemy. It seems kind of weird how they keep kind of putting him on a back burner so that other characters could shine. No, man, y'all can make both characters or all the characters shine at the same time, man. That's how Star Trek is, man. Everybody experts at what they do. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. This video went way too long. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And as always, peace, recycle, and say the whales. You guys be cool.